Your horse might look perfectly calm right now, ears relaxed, eyes half closed, standing in the sun like nothing in the world could touch them. But inside that skull, something else is happening. Somewhere in the folds of their brain, a decade-old debt is being quietly calculated. A person, a moment, a single bad afternoon that you have long since forgotten. They haven't. Scientists once assumed horses lived entirely in the present, reacting, then forgetting, like most prey animals. But new research into the equine brain is revealing something far stranger, something that changes the entire relationship between horses and the humans who think they know them. By the end of this video, you'll understand why a horse can carry a grudge in complete silence for years, and why that silence might be the most important warning sign you've been missing. Welcome to Barn Mind. Today we're going inside the hidden architecture of the horse's brain, the part that never forgets. You'll discover why a single harsh interaction can rewire how a horse behaves for the rest of its life. Why some horses randomly spook at a certain hat, a certain voice, a certain smell, years after the event that caused it. And why the calmest horse in the barn might actually be running the longest memory of resentment of any animal you'll ever meet. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. The person a horse remembers the longest is often the one who caused the least amount of visible damage. We'll get to why. Let's start at the beginning. Inside the vault. Deep inside a horse's brain sits a structure called the hippocampus. In humans, it's famous for one thing: converting short-term experience into long-term memory. In horses, it does something even more precise. Researchers at the University of Bristol, working with Dr. Carol Hall's team on equine cognition, found that horses don't just remember events. They remember the exact combination of details around those events: the person's voice, their scent, the way they moved, even the time of day. It's not a fuzzy impression, it's closer to a filed report. Most people miss this because horses don't announce what they remember. There's no growl, no warning bite on sight, just a shift, a held breath, a half step back that looks like nothing. But here's where everything changes, because that nothing is actually the horse running a search through years of stored data, in real time, every single time you walk toward them. Picture this: a young horse, maybe 3 years old, has a rough afternoon with a farrier. Nothing dramatic, no injury, just one moment of being handled with impatience instead of care. The horse doesn't rear, doesn't bolt, just tenses, and then goes still. Everyone in the barn moves on. The horse, it seems, moves on too, except it doesn't. 20 years later, that same horse, now old, gentle, bomb-proof around most people, will still tighten at the smell of a particular type of leather apron, or freeze the instant someone crouches near its front leg the way that farrier once did. This isn't superstition. Researchers studying stress physiology in horses have found that a single negative event can trigger a lasting cortisol response, the body's stress hormone, that gets reactivated by matching sensory cues years later, even when the horse shows no outward behavioral change. In plain terms, the fear never fully leaves the body. It just stops being visible. And that's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. If this is the first time you're learning that horses might be quietly cataloging every interaction they've ever had with you, hit like right now and drop a comment telling me the calmest animal you've ever met. I have a feeling some of you are about to realize they weren't as calm as you thought. Here's the question that stumped researchers for years. If a horse remembers pain this precisely, why doesn't it show it? The answer is buried 55 million years deep in horse evolution. Horses are prey animals. In the wild, visible weakness, flinching, limping, panicking, is an invitation for predators. So evolution didn't just give horses a strong memory, it gave them an equally strong instinct to mask what that memory is doing to them. Scientists didn't expect what happened next when they started measuring this directly. Studies using heart rate variability found that horses can appear completely relaxed on the outside, steady stance, soft eyes, while their heart rate tells an entirely different story underneath. That means the calm you're seeing isn't necessarily the truth. It's a performance, refined over millions of years, designed to keep a vulnerable animal alive. Which raises an uncomfortable follow-up question. If a horse can hide fear this well, what else are they hiding? This is where the story gets genuinely eerie. In a well-known study led by researcher Leah Lansard and colleagues, horses were shown photographs of human faces paired with either a pleasant or an unpleasant interaction. Months later, with no reminder, no repeat exposure, the horses reacted differently to the unpleasant faces on sight. Not to the person's smell, not to their voice, to the face alone. That's facial recognition memory lasting for months, tied directly to how that person made them feel. Now stretch that finding out across a horse's full lifespan, 20, 25, sometimes 30 years, and you start to understand why long-time horse owners report something almost supernatural. A horse that instantly relaxes for one specific vet and instantly tenses for another, years after a single bad visit neither the vet nor the owner even remembers. The horse remembers. The horse always remembers. And here's the part that changes how you should read every calm horse from now on. That recognition doesn't fade with good behavior on your part. It only fades, researchers believe, with consistent repeated evidence that you are safe. Not weeks of evidence, sometimes years. Here's the twist scientists want you to understand before you start feeling guilty about every mistake you've ever made around a horse. This isn't spite. Horses don't lie awake plotting revenge the way we imagine a grudge working in human terms. What they're actually running is a risk assessment system, one that uses memory not to punish you, but to protect themselves. Every stored moment, every remembered face, every flinch that never fully disappeared, it's all in service of one single evolutionary goal. Don't get hurt the same way twice, which means the grudge you thought was unforgiving is actually rewritable, slowly, patiently, through the same mechanism that built it, repeated, specific, positive experience layered directly over the old memory until safety outweighs the risk. It's not that horses can't forgive, it's that forgiveness for them has to be earned in the same currency fear was. One honest interaction at a time. If you've made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person this channel is for. Subscribe to Barn Mind so you don't miss the next hidden truth about the animals we think we already understand. And if you've got 2 seconds, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this research reach more people who care about animals the way you do. Somewhere on a quiet farm tonight, a horse will stand still while someone walks past. And in that stillness, an entire silent archive will be searched, matched, and filed away in less than a second. We used to think that stillness meant nothing was happening. Now we know it means everything is. Maybe the real lesson here isn't about horses at all. Maybe it's about how much we misread quiet as forgetting. In animals, and maybe in each other too. Have you ever seen a farm animal do something that completely changed how you viewed them? Share your story in the comments. I read every one.